and welcome to yoga. I hope you're all keeping well. I've put together a 40-minute class for you. Obviously, with the current situation, with us not being able to meet in the studio, I hope you might find it useful. It's actually the first time that I've done any video recording for any yoga sessions, so please bear with me and we'll see how we get on. So if you're ready to start, we're going to start on our knees. So if you come onto the knees and tuck the toes underneath, sitting the bottom back onto the heels. Let's sit nice and tall in the spine, lifting the chest slightly, rolling the shoulders back and keeping the chin tucked slightly towards the chest just to create that length down the back of the spine. We're going to stay here for a moment or two as we practice some full yogic breaths. So allowing the eyes to softly close, we start to draw the attention to the breath. Noticing the sensations on the inhales and the exhales as we breathe in and out through the nose. Start to lengthen the inhales and exhales, maybe to a count of 3 or 4, maintaining the same length on the inhale and the exhale. On the next inhale, take a nice deep breath into the body, expanding the abdomen, allowing the diaphragm to push down into the space. Exhaling, releasing the air, squeezing the navel in towards the spine. Inhaling again, right into the belly, let the belly rise. And then transfer the breath up into the chest space, so stretching out the rib cage. Feel the breath reaching right under the collarbones. Exhaling, releasing from the chest and out through the belly. Take a few breaths here in your own time, to your own count. Nice deep nourishing breaths into the body and out of the body. And as we bring the attention to the breath, allow any other thoughts that you've brought to the mat into the mind, acknowledge them and then release them. And then when you're ready, softly blinking the eyes open. Let's release the toes from underneath. Take the hands down onto the mat. Spread the knees wide, tucking the big toes together and reach the hands out in front for child's pose. So here we allow the forehead to come down onto the mat. Maintaining the focus on the breath. Child's pose is a great resting pose. It's a good alternative to downward dog, and we can come back to child's pose at any point during the practice if you feel you want to take a break. So on your next inhale, let's come up onto the fingertips and we'll walk the hands over to the right hand side of your mat. Exhale, lower the body down over that knee. Inhale, coming back onto the fingertips, walk the hands back to centre and then over to the left hand side. Exhale, release and soften the body down over that leg. Inhale, coming back up onto the fingertips, walking the hands back to the centre and then coming back onto all fours. Let's make a nice strong tabletop position. So So the knees come underneath the hips, the wrists underneath the shoulders, creating a nice neutral spine, a nice flat back like a tabletop. Draw the belly button in towards the spine. We're going to come into our cat-cows. So as we inhale, let the belly lower towards the mat, lift the gaze towards the wall in front of you, into cow pose. Exhale, push the hands into the mat, round the spine, separate the shoulder blades, transfer the gaze towards the knees. Marichyasana, angry cat pose. Inhale, we come back to cow, so the tailbone lifts, chin lifts, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, rounding the spine, drawing the belly in. Inhale, one more time to cow. Exhaling, let's come back to a neutral spine. We're going to tuck the toes under. Take the hands about palms width in front of where they were. And then slowly start to lift the knees off the mat, tilting the tailbone towards the ceiling. Keeping a bend in the knees because we're still warming up the hamstrings, and maybe just walk the legs out a little bit. Bringing the feet together, let's take a nice inhale. We're going to come up onto the tippy toes, lift the tailbone as high up towards the ceiling as you can. As we exhale, lower the right heel down towards the mat. Doesn't matter if it doesn't come all the way down. Inhale, back up. Exhale, left. Inhale, come up. And this time as we exhale, let's allow the heels to softly lower down towards the mat. Maybe straightening the legs a little bit here into our first downward dog. Take a few breaths here. And then when you're ready, stepping the feet towards the centre of the mat. We'll bring the hands in towards the feet. And let's just fold forwards here in Uttanasana, allowing the upper body to hang down over the legs. Allow the head to hang heavy. Perhaps taking hold of opposite elbows and gently rock the body from side to side. From here, releasing the hands and slowly roll up through each vertebrae of the spine to come up to a standing position. Standing nice and tall. And we'll begin in Tadasana, our mountain pose. So stepping towards the top of the mat, have your feet parallel, so the outsides of your feet are parallel. Usually this means the big toes are touching and the heels are slightly apart. You can have the feet a little bit further away from each other for a bit more stability. So standing up nice and tall, drawing the belly in, tucking the pelvis under, draw the shoulders back and down, standing up, reaching up through the crown of the head. As we inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up overhead, reaching up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring the hands down in front of you, folding at the hips. Take a bend in the knees here if you want to. Hands come down onto the mat. Inhaling, step the right foot back into a lunge position. So here we're going to lift the chest and chin to lengthen through the spine. Retain the breath, placing the hands down and stepping the left foot through into our plank position. So you have the option here to lower the knees if you want to, or you can keep them lifted. Making sure the elbows are drawn in towards the centre of the body as we exhale, lowering down. Untuck the toes, point them out behind you. Inhale, lift the chest and chin, coming up to Cobra. Exhale, tucking the toes under. Roll the body back, pushing into the hands and tilting the bottom towards the heels before lifting the knees off the mat and coming back, finding your downward dog. And we'll take a few breaths here. As you inhale, let's float that right leg up behind into a three-legged dog. Bending the knee slightly, coming up on the tippy toes. Draw the knee underneath the body and then kick that foot between the hands. You can guide it through with your hand if you need to place that foot between the hands. Again, lengthen the chest and chin into that lunge. As we exhale, back foot comes forwards into that fold, feeling stretch down the back of the hamstrings. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands come back to the heart. Inhale, reach up, maybe look up towards the thumbs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back with the left foot. Lengthen the chest and chin as we retain the breath. Take the right foot through to plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Keeping the elbows drawn in towards the chest, the shoulders away from the ears. Tucking the toes, exhale, downward dog. Inhaling, lifting the left leg up behind into three-legged dog. Bend that knee, draw it underneath the body and bring it between the hands. Lengthen the chest and chin. Exhale, right foot comes forwards, fold. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, reach up, look up, maybe take a slight back bend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back, retain the breath, left foot back, exhale, lower down. Inhale to cobra, or point the toes and come up to upward facing dog. Lowering back down, tuck the toes under, roll the bottom back and up to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up, bending the knee, sweeping the leg forwards. Lengthen the chest and chin. Exhale, left foot comes forwards, fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the heart. One more time on the left. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, stepping the left foot back. Retain the breath, right foot follows. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, tucking the toes, downward dog. Inhale, lifting that left leg up, bend the knee, gaze in between the hands, swing the foot through, lengthen the spine, exhale, back foot comes forwards, fold, inhale, reach up, exhale, hands to the heart. Good. Okay, so staying where we are at the top of the mat, I'm going to come into our Vakasana tree pose. So I'm going to turn this way so I can just demonstrate front on. So standing nice and tall, feet are parallel, pelvis is tucked under, belly's drawn in, roll the shoulders back and down, standing up nice and tall in Tadasana. Now we're going to start to switch the weight into the right leg. So bending the toes of the left foot and tucking the heel into the ankle, we turn the knee out to the side. Standing up nice and strong on this supporting leg, engaging these muscles to keep this hip tucked under so we're not sinking out to the side, and engage the glute muscles in this bent knee to draw the knee out to the side as well. So we're standing up nice and tall, keeping the chest lifted. Take the arms out to the side so we can stay here for balance, or if you want to, you can try lifting the foot up to the shin, just below the knee. We can stay here, or we can take it slightly further if you want to, taking the foot above the knee, If you have it above the knee, tuck the foot right up at the upper thigh so we're not putting any pressure on the knee joint. And then we can float the hands up overhead, allowing the fingertips to softly touch each other. Keeping the shoulders pulled down away from the ears, keeping this knee drawn out to the side. All the while drawing the attention back to the breath. One more breath here. As we inhale, reach the arms right up as far as you can. Exhale, release them down and bring the hands down onto the hips. Now we're going to keep the knee lifted and just rotate it towards the front of the body and step the foot back. So we're keeping the back foot parallel with the back of the mat and your front toes pointing forwards towards the front of the mat. So if I just turn sideways here, we want to be able to push this back hip forwards and draw the front hip back. We're going to bend the knee so it's stacked directly over the ankle at the front. And lift the chest again and inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, reaching up into our warrior one position. From here, come up onto the tippy toes of that back foot, transfer the weight into the front leg, tilting the body forwards, and we're going to start to lift the back leg off the mat, finding our warrior three position. So we can have the arms extended out in front of you if you've got room, or we can have the arms behind you, or we can keep the hands on the hips. So as we inhale, try and lengthen that back leg as if someone's pulling back on that foot, keeping strong in that supporting leg. As we exhale, maybe you'll sink a little bit deeper into that fold forwards. And then inhale, bending that front leg, step that foot really wide back. Again, the back foot's parallel with the back of your mat, front foot toes pointing towards the front. Keep the knees stacked directly over the ankle and float the arms out to the sides, gazing over your front hand for warrior two. This time the hips are squared to the long side of your mat. And taking a nice deep breath in. As we exhale, reaching the body forwards towards the wall in front of you. And then take the forearm down onto the thigh and extend the top arm up overhead for Utthita Parshavakkonasana. So we can stay here. If this is too much for you, you can come back up onto the hand. Have the hand resting on the thigh. Or if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you can take the hand all the way down to the mat. Keeping that top arm extended. Keep broad in the chest, so keep rolling back on that top shoulder. Keep pushing the weight down into the little toes of that straight leg. One more breath here as we inhale, reaching tall. Exhale, sweeping the arms back up to warrior two. From here, we're going to take the opposite, lean the opposite ways for reverse warrior. So switching that left arm overhead and wrapping the right arm around the back of the body. And then coming back to warrior two, straighten that front leg. Nice deep breath in as we exhale, reaching forwards again from the waist, and then rotating the hands, keeping the arms straight but on the clock face, and lowering the hand down to Trikonasana. So you might come down to the knee, it might come as far as the shin or the ankle, or maybe your hand comes all the way down to the mat, just working with your body. Trying to keep the hip that's tucked under pulling forwards, and this top hip pulling back. And we're going to release from here, taking both hands down onto the mat. Pivot that back foot. Keeping the hands here, we're going to plant the hand inside the foot and float that top arm up, twisting the body, coming into a reverse lunge, twisted lunge. And taking both hands down to the mat now. Pushing the hands, spread the fingers wide, step that foot back and lift the tailbone into downward facing dog. So pushing the chest through, keeping the shoulders strong and away from the ears, soften the heels down towards the mat. Keep the tailbone tilted up towards the ceiling and find your breath here. So here we're going to lift the left leg up, bend the knee and step the foot through the hands, lengthening the chest and chin, opening up the hips in this lunge position and then stepping the back foot forwards. Fold, inhale, sweep the arms overhead, exhale, bring the hands back to the heart. Good job, we'll go to the other side. So again, standing nice and tall in Tadasana, well this time tuck the right foot into the left ankle, drawing that knee back, staying strong in the hip, taking the hands out to the sides. Stay here for balance or start to lift the foot up to the lower shin, maybe taking it higher and then floating the arms up overhead. Find your breath. Inhale, reaching up, exhale, releasing the hands down, bringing the hands down onto the hips, rotating that knee forwards, and then stepping that foot back into our warrior one position. So the knees bent over the ankle, hips are square to the back of the mat. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Coming up onto the tippy toes, reaching the hands forwards, transferring the weight into that front leg, and then lifting that back foot up, floating into warrior three. Bending that front knee, step the back foot nice and wide for warrior two, floating the hands out to the sides. Wiggle that foot forwards if you need to, or the back foot back to find a nice wide stance. Bending into warrior two, gazing over that left hand. Inhale, exhale, reach forwards and float that arm overhead. Remember, you can come back up onto your hand or lower the hand right down to the mat. Keeping the shoulder rolled back. Inhale, reach, exhale, cartwheeling the hands back up to warrior two. And then into our reverse warrior, wrapping that right arm around the back, extending the left arm overhead. And taking the arms out to the sides, let's come back to warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Inhale. Exhale, reach forwards, rotate the hands round, Trikonasana. And then taking both hands down onto the mat, pivot that back foot, plant the right hand inside the left foot and float the arm up into the twisted lunge. Take the right hand down to the mat, the left hand down, step the foot back into downward dog. Now find the breath. Inhaling, lifting the left foot up behind you, bend the knees, swing the foot through, lengthen the chest and lift the chest, lengthen the spine, step the left foot forwards, fold, inhale, reaching the arms up, exhale, hands come back to the heart. Good. Inhale, let's step the feet wide again. This time turning the feet so that they're parallel. So both feet are parallel with the edges of your mat. Keep the pelvis tucked under so we're not sticking the bottom out. Clasp the hands together like this behind you. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale, folding forwards from the hips. Try and keep the length in the spine, so reaching forwards through the crown of the head. Try and keep the weight in the balls of the feet as well, so we're not sitting back into the bottom. Inhale to lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, maybe you'll fold a little bit deeper, reaching the arms up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, releasing the hands down to the mat. Bringing the hands back onto the hips. Inhale, sweeping the body back up to standing. Let's walk the feet in towards each other so they're just wider than the hips. Turn the toes out about 45 degrees. Lifting the chest again on the inhale, lengthening through the spine. As we exhale, sitting down into a yogic squat. So we're lowering the sitting bone, the tailbone, right down towards the mat. So we're not sticking the bottom out behind us, lowering straight down. When you come down to as far as you feel comfortable, see if you can put the hands in the prayer position at the chest. And if you're here, opening up the knees to the side. Here, if it feels good, maybe taking a gentle rock from side to side. Opening up the hips. From here we're going to find our crow pose. So we're going to bring the hands down onto the mat. I'll turn sideways here again. So we're coming up from the squat position onto the tiptoes a little bit. Bring the hands down flat onto the mat, but spread the fingers wide. We're just going to start by lifting the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Try here to tuck the knees into the armpits. Coming up onto the tippy toes. And just see if you can tilt the weight forwards into your hands. This might be enough for you. If you want to go a little bit further, see if you can lift one foot off the mat and the other foot. Releasing the feet back down. And we're going to make our way down onto the mat, onto our bottoms. So So next we're going to come to Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. So sitting nice and tall in Dandasana, our seated staff pose, feet are flexed, sitting up nice and tall, roll the shoulders back. Make sure the pelvis is tilted forward so we're not rolling back into the pelvis, slouching backwards. Sitting up nice and tall. We're going to take a nice deep breath in, sweep the arms up overhead, and as you exhale, fold forwards from the hips like you're a piece of paper folding in the middle. Now wherever you come to, everybody's body is different. So maybe you come to here, maybe you come to here, or maybe you'll fold all the way forwards. Try not to clasp hold of the feet if your hands reach down towards your feet. Just allow the hands to rest down onto the mat, engaging the muscles on the inside of the thigh here to push the body down. Then we're going to roll up and come back to Dandasana. So half roll of the fish is next. I'll turn around this way so I'm facing you. So we're going to keep the legs extended out where you are. Draw the right knee in towards you and then cross the foot over to the other side of the leg. Now here you have the option to leave this leg extended out in front, or for a slightly more advanced version you can wrap the foot around so it comes level with your sitting bones. You can take the right hand down behind you for stability. Inhale, reach the left arm up, and exhale, twist to the side. We can keep this hand here, or again, if you want to advance it slightly, try and reach this hand around and take hold of the foot. Slowly releasing, turn the upper body back to the centre and uncross the legs, giving them a little wiggle. So we'll draw the left knee in, cross it over the other side, wrap the foot round if you want to, or you can leave it extended. Left hand comes down for support. Inhale, reach the right arm up, and exhale, twist to the side. Stay here or extend this arm around. And then slowly release. Twisting the upper body back to centre, uncross the legs, give them a little wiggle. We're going to sweep the legs around to the side now and come onto our knees. And we'll just take a small rest in child's pose. So taking the knees wide, tucking the big toes together, reach the hands out in front. From here, we'll come up onto the hands, onto the forearms, clasp the hands together, so interlacing the fingers. Just double check that your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders by touching your hand from elbow to elbow. Clasp the hands together, extend the legs out behind you so you're coming into a plank position and come into our dolphin plank. So you have the option here to lower the knees down if you feel that works best for you, or you can keep the knees lifted to make it a little bit harder. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths. And when you're ready, slowly lowering the body down onto the mat, untuck the toes. We'll take the forearms out in front, spread the fingers wide, and just lift the chest for Sphinx pose, stretching out the front of the body. From here, we're going to lower the upper body down onto the mat. Release the arms and take them down by the side so your palms are facing upwards. Turn the head to the side And just take a moment to focus on your breath. Take a nice deep breath into the back of the body. And then using your hand, roll yourself over onto your back. And we'll bring both feet in towards the hips. So here we're going to cross the right leg over the left knee. So the ankle comes over the knee, keeping the foot flexed to protect the right knee joint. And lift the left foot off the mat and thread the right hand through the gap between the legs. Take hold behind the thigh or in front of the shin and gently pull the knee in towards you. Slowly releasing the foot back down and across the legs. We'll go to the other side. So the left foot crosses over the knee, and lifting the foot off, keeping the foot flexed on the bent leg and taking hold of the thigh or the knee, gently hugging it in towards the body. Slowly releasing the foot down onto the mat. We'll bring both feet back down, drawing it in towards the body. So you should be able to touch both ankles with your fingertips here. And we'll come into our shoulder stand or legs up the wall, whichever you prefer. So keeping the pelvis down on the mat to begin with, we're going to extend the feet right up towards the ceiling so they're perpendicular with the floor. You can stay here if that's enough for you, or if you want to, start to tilt the pelvis using the hands to support you in the mat, lifting the feet slightly overhead and up towards the ceiling. When you get to here, we can use the hands to support the lower back, lifting the feet up towards the ceiling, taking the weight in the upper arms and the shoulders so there's no weight in the back of the neck, keeping the chin tucked towards the chest. When you're ready, slowly releasing, rolling the feet back, rolling down through each vertebra to spine, using your hands to support you in the mat, bringing the feet back down. So one more posture before we find our final relaxation posture, Savasana. We're going to just release any tension that we've built up in the back of the spine. So crossing the right knee over the left leg like you're sitting in a chair. If you want to, you can keep the legs crossed, or slightly more advanced is to wrap the foot around the back of the leg. We're going to roll the right knee over to the left side of the body, taking the hands out to the sides in a T shape, and if you want to, switching the gaze over towards your right hand. Try and keep both shoulders down on the mat. And then coming back up, arm across the legs. We go to the other side. So left leg comes over right. Wrap the foot round if you want to, and then lower the knee down towards the right side of the body. Coming back up. And cross the legs. Take the arms down by the sides and allow the palms to face upwards. Extend the legs out in front of you and just let the feet fall out to the sides. Take the feet about hip distance apart. Allow the eyes to softly close. Finding our final relaxation in Shavasana. Releasing any tension from everywhere in the body. Soften the belly, allow the breath to return to its natural pattern. Relaxing from the feet all the way up to the crown of the head. Allowing the body to sink into the mat. Relaxing the shoulders. Soften the jaw. Relax the face and the crown of the head. And just be. When you're ready, making your way out of the posture, hugging the knees in towards the chest, rolling the body over towards the side, using your hand to push yourself up to a seated position. Let's come into an easy cross-legged posture. And to close the class, we'll bring the hands to the heart centre. Well done, guys. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. Stay safe. Namaste.